So sometimes with fun adventures, things break. On our last kayaking adventure, we busted a boat, so today we're going to try to fix it. Never done this before, but with the help of YouTube and Reddit, we're going to give it a try and learn together. Stay tuned. Well, sometimes when you have adventure, things break. During our last whitewater adventure, boats took some hard hits, and I've noticed the last several times we've been out that there's quite a bit of water in the boat, sometimes a gallon and a half. I think I took a really hard direct hit to the front of the boat, the bow, and I've been trying to find it for several weeks. Our lakes and rivers around here have a lot of clay and mud, so after a good cleaning of the boat, I found a pretty good sized ding and crack, so we're going to try to get that fixed today. Alright, as you can see, right here in the front, there's a pretty good gouge and crack. So that's what we're going to try to fill. Kayaks are manufactured out of a plastic called polyethylene. There's two types. There's HDPE, or high-density polyethylene, which is utilized in milk jugs, detergent bottles, and other containers where strength and rigidity is essential, and it has the number 2 on the recycling symbol. The other type of polyethylene used in kayaks is low-density polyethylene, or LDPE, and it is used in manufacturing for things like makeup containers that need to be soft and squeezable, or even shopping bags where lightweight and flexibility is essential. In recycling, it is identified by the number 4 in the recycling triangle symbol. Ideally, you want to repair your kayak with the same type of plastic that is manufactured out of. In order to find this, Google is your friend, because most manufacturers will list what type of plastic the kayak is made out of, either on a retailer's website or the manufacturer's website. So this particular kayak that we're repairing is made of LDPE, and I looked through the house and tried to find any kind of recycling containers that were made out of LDPE. I even went to the grocery store but could not find a donor plastic that was suitable. So because of that, we're going to go with the HDPE and melt the two together. And based on what I've read on Reddit and seen on YouTube, you can totally do that. So that's what we're going to try. So after digging through the garage, I found some old paint buckets, and lo and behold, on the bottom we've got the recycling symbol, and let's see if that shows up, the number 2. So that is the high density polyethylene HDPE, and that's what we're going to take a chunk out of and try to melt onto the kayak to repair the crack. Okay, for tools, I've got a drill with a wire brush. I've got a heat gun from Jessica's crafting scrapbooking room with her permission. I've got some rubbing alcohol. I've got some paper towels. I've got some wire dikes, some wire cutters, scissors, and a screwdriver. And it's important that it's a plastic acrylic screwdriver, so when you try to melt and mold the plastic together, that it doesn't stick to a rubber handled screwdriver. So here I'm using the wire brush attachment on my drill to remove dirt and grime from the area of repair. You don't want to go so hard that you remove plastic, but you want to try to get the area free of dirt, sand, and grime. Okay, so I have my piece of plastic that I cut out from the old paint lid and cleaned the paint off both sides, just a hunk of plastic. And I figured the gray would look good with the boat. I don't think it's going to be an invisible repair, but we are going for strength over prettiness, but hey, that matches actually pretty well. Alright, we'll see how this goes. So we got to heat this on the boat, and we got to also heat our piece of plastic. I'm going to use the heat gun on the boat, so it's a little more controlled. I'm going to use a torch on the repair plastic, a little hotter, not as controlled, but maybe a little bit faster. So we'll speed things up here to make the video shorter and a little more interesting. Here the plastic is getting soft enough that it is starting to collapse in on itself, which is perfectly normal. We're looking for soft plastic, because soft plastic melts to soft plastic. Once the plastic on the boat is soft, you need to soften and melt the plastic for the repair piece. This can be somewhat difficult because you have to keep both the plastic on the boat soft and melt and soften the repair plastic. So if available, an extra set of hands sure does come in handy. So what we're looking for here is a consistency like Play-Doh or soft bubble gum. You need to heat the plastic evenly and slowly so it doesn't catch on fire or burn. But again, you have to keep the repair plastic soft and pliable as well as the boat plastic, because soft plastic bonds and melts to soft plastic. If one of the plastics is too cool, the repair won't be permanent or strong. I was very thankful when Jess came to lend me a hand, so that way I could focus my attention on using the blowtorch to melt the repair plastic, and she could use the heat gun to start softening the boat plastic again so that we could have a strong repair. Once both the boat and the repair plastic were nice, warm, and soft, we went ahead and went in for the repair. Again, we're not going for beauty here, we are going for strength. And so we really just kind of smudged the two pieces together. This was my first time doing it, so we're all learning together. It's important to keep the repair area warm so that the plastic is soft enough to shape and mold. So the continued use of a heat gun really helps out here. You're not going for perfection because you can always sand afterwards, which is what we did here to finalize and clean up the shape. I'm using the hard-handled plastic screwdriver here because if you used rubber, it may try to stick to the repair patch. The hard plastic allows you to mold the plastic repair without getting stuck to it. And as you can see, you try to smush down the edges of the repair so that the repair patch has a seamless bond with the plastic of the boat. So here we have the completed patch repair. As you can see, it covered the hole nicely, a little excess, but also some portions of the edge did not bond completely. So again, the moral of the story is to have both the boat plastic and the repair plastic nice and soft and as close to the same temperature as possible. But that's okay because we're going to use my sander to try to knock it down and shape it up. Alright, so did some sanding, still not perfect, so we'll still spend some more quality time, but I think it's definitely going to be functional. No more hole, should hold water, or keep water out. A little more sanding, and we'll be good to go. Okay. So the shaping's not quite where I want it yet, but I wanted to do a function test, and I am quickly losing light as the sun's going down. So we're gonna give it a shot and see if it's keeping the water out. Before the patch, there's probably a gallon and a half of water at the end of the paddle. So we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. Alrighty, and we're off. So I was hearing a little trickling sound before, where the water was trickling in, drip, drip, drip. So far, nothing. That's good. I'll just paddle and see. Alrighty, we just finished 2 miles according to my Fitbit, and no leaks. I don't see any water in the bottom other than sort of drip from my paddle. So still have some finessing for aesthetics, but I think this was a success. And a nice, peaceful evening paddle. Just always very nice. As we can see, we have no water in the bottom of the boat, where before we had about a gallon, gallon and a half. So that is definitely a win. Well, we just did another function test after the final sanding. Still no leaks, so it looks like it worked. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and find it useful if you ever need to fix a busted kayak. And don't forget to like and subscribe.